Eurasianism is a political movement in Russia, formerly within the primarily Russian émigré community, that is focused on the geopolitical concept of Eurasia. Early 20th century, Eurasianism is a political movement that has its origins in the Russian émigré community in the 1920s. The movement posited that Russian civilization does not belong in the European category, and that the October Revolution of the Bolsheviks was a necessary reaction to the rapid modernization of Russian society. The Eurasianists believed that the Soviet regime was capable of evolving into a new national, non-European Orthodox Christian government, shedding the initial mask of proletarian internationalism and militant atheism. The Eurasianists criticized the anti-Bolshevik activities of organizations such as ROVS, believing that the émigré community's energies would be better focused on preparing for this hoped-for process of evolution. In turn, their opponents among the émigrés argued that the Eurasianists were calling for a compromise with and even support of the Soviet regime, while justifying its ruthless policies as mere transitory problems that were inevitable results of the revolutionary process. The key leaders of the Eurasianists were Prince Nikolai Trubetskoy, P.N. Savitsky, P.P. Suvchinsky, D.S. Mirsky, K. Idze P. Arapov, and S. Efrin. Philosopher George Florovsky was initially a supporter, but backed out of the organization, claiming it raises the right questions, but poses the wrong answers. A significant influence of the doctrine of the Eurasianists can be found in Nikolai Berdyev's essay, The Sources and Meaning of Russian Communism. Several organizations similar in spirit to the Eurasianists sprung up in the émigré community at around the same time, such as the pro-monarchist Miladorsi and the Smenevikovsi. Several members of the Eurasianists were affected by the Soviet provocational TREST operation, which had set up a fake meeting of Eurasianists in Russia that was attended by the Eurasianist leader P.N. Savitsky in 1926. The uncovering of the TREST as a Soviet provocation caused a serious morale blow to the Eurasianists and discredited the public image. By 1929, the Eurasianists had ceased publishing the periodical and had faded quickly from the Russian émigré community. Late 20th century, the ideology of the movement was partially incorporated into a new movement of the same name after the fall of the Soviet Union, when the Eurasia Party was founded by Alexander Dugin. Neo-Eurasianism. Neo-Eurasianism is a Russian school of thought popularized in Russia during the years leading up to and following the collapse of the Soviet Union, that considers Russia to be culturally closer to Asia than to Western Europe. The school takes its inspiration from the Eurasianists of the 1920s, notably Prince Nikolai Trubetskoy and P.N. Savitsky. Lev Gumilev is often cited as the founder of the Neo-Eurasianist movement, and he was quoted as saying that, "I am the last of the Eurasianists." At the same time, major differences have been noted between Gumilev's work and those of the original Eurasianists. Gumilev's work is controversial for its scientific methodology. At any rate, Gumilev's work has been a source of inspiration for the Neo-Eurasianist authors, the most prolific of whom is Alexander Dugin. Gumilev's contribution to Neo-Eurasianism lies in the conclusions he reaches from applying his theory of ethnogenesis, that the Mongol occupation of 1240 to 1480 AD had shielded the emergent Russian ethnos from the aggressive neighbor to the west, allowing it to gain time to achieve maturity. The idea of Eurasianism contrasts with Konstantin Leontiev's Byzantinism, which is similar in its rejection of the West, but identifies with the Byzantine Empire rather than with Central Asian tribal culture. Turkey. Since the late 1990s, Eurasianism has gained some following in Turkey among nationalist circles. The most prominent figure who was associated with Erdogan is Dogu Perinçek, the leader of the Workers' Party. Some analysts of modern Turkish politics have suggested that the ultra-nationalist and secular elite that are also affiliated with the members of the Turkish military, who have come under close scrutiny with the Ergenekon coup case, have close ideological and political ties to the Eurasianists.